We can step up. Okay.
Okay, so we're team ALAC-a-zam, and the problem we wanted to solve was one recommended to a friend who said that the entire occupational therapy department in his team at the Artificial Limb and Appliance Centre spends about half a day every week screening referrals, which include wheelchair referrals.
The current solution is a 10-page manual form with 72 questions, which often gets bounced back because of missing information or vague answers.
So, we're going to go into the demo. So let's start with the example of giving an incomplete form. So this will result in an error, which shows that there's missing fields, and it shows exactly which ones. So now, let's try and add a real form and an example video, which would be of the patient, and try and upload it. This is an example of one of the forms, which Hugh over here has very kindly provided us. And the example, so the results would end up with the form results, and then an attached video, which we have provided, and it'll let us play it back, as well as the past text from the PDF, which is running in the back end. Not the final video that would be used. And then you can run the analysis, which goes through a Bayesian network, and then through an LLM, which provides a good summary of what happened, and provides next steps. So here it's suggested powered indoor wheelchair, and also shows the recommendations and how it got to the conclusion, and if there's any sort of suggestions that it would give, why it got to it. And we'd also, again, like to thank you for helping us with this, and we're glad to tell you that the client will need a powered wheelchair due to the fact that they have the inability to self-propel, mentioned with the results, and also a diagnosis of a right above knee amputation.
Okay, so what does this system do? Faster triage is your main thing, which is useful for both the clinician and for the patient. It instantly flags incomplete forms, which helps shape the pathway and make for more consistent referrals. It uses a Bayesian network, so it's got a weighted rationale the OT can see. It's not a mystery black box, and it's giving structured feedback to go back to the referrer and the clinician on what's missing.
Safety and ethics have been at the forefront of our design process, so the networks and methods we chose were driven by these. We designed this such that the human is in the loop, and that the model is giving something that is interpretable and something that can be interrogated and pushed back on. And there's no autonomous referral, so we step back from that. So it's purely human. Data is handled perfectly well with the law, basically, and we have explainable AI here. So every recommendation has weights that can be interrogated, adjusted. It's not based on biased data. It's been designed with expert OT inputs.
Okay, so in terms of real-world implementation, the purpose of this is it could be chunked into the existing referral system as it exists now. They have the forms, you just put them in, and then you just follow a pilot with a testing alongside clinicians and scale out, which I'm happy to expand on in questions.
So our limitations were that we designed using one clinician's knowledge, and it hasn't been tested with real-life users. Obviously, with more time, we will be able to do that. And we use LLM in some places, but however, our teamwork was incredibly good. We had a lot of fun, we were multidisciplined, and we had healthcare professionals they were key in shaping our requirements, and deterministic outcomes which can be held accountable that was our strength of using expert models over LLMs. And if you would like to give ALAC-a-zam a try, scan the QR code. Thank you.
Well done. Any questions for Team ALAC-a-zam? We'll start with Nurjat.
Yeah, so with forms, obviously one of the challenges in the NHS is that there are hundreds of thousands of forms, and each one of these services often have totally different forms for the same purpose, right? How applicable do you think this is to go from 1 to 10 to 1,000 forms?
It's very scalable because the entire thing is basically modeled across with the PDF parcels. I believe that it uses PDFs to share the forms and everything. So each form is designed in such a way that we would only need one form which is filled in properly to be able to understand what should be the right fields that should be filled in, what should be the right categories that need to be filled in. Using that, we would be able to establish that across any amount of PDFs itself. So it's scalable up to n amount of PDFs.
Just regards to different forms, the way that the model works is an LLM extracts what is important, but the deterministic aspect takes 26 observable clinical features and uses that to make the decision. So as long as that information can be there, and it can deal with incomplete information and we can still get to a decision, it allows much quicker processing still.
And we did do this in 48 hours.
Any other questions for the judges? Or to the rest? Yeah, Joe?
If this was implemented, what would be your measure of success?
Referral time would be at the time between a referral. We'd also be wanting to look at, and this isn't currently tracked in NHS England or Wales as far as we can tell, we'd be wanting to look at how many referrals got bounced back looking for additional information, because we'd be hoping that improves over time with clearer guidance. So yeah, speed of referral, successful referral, and bounce back. Anyone else?
Any questions from the rest of you? No? Yes? I think everybody must understand it very well.